Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and this video has been a long time coming. Many of you have asked for this, but when you see what's in this video today and how long this video is going to be, you're going to understand how difficult of a thing this is to do, just in terms of logistics. So I had ideas for this. I was going to bundle every Airsoft replica that I own and bundle it into a van or something like that, and maybe go down somewhere like HC2 and show you see like these cringy images of like there's one that's like really popular on the internet. It's like an American family and they're sat on the decking and they've got that many guns that they're just all out on the decking and on the roof and everything. It would look like that. So I was trying to think of ways to do it at home. Wasn't really going to work. If I do transport them everywhere, it's just a huge ball ache and would take the best part of a full day. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to stand in front of the camera as I usually do, and I'm just going to show you each thing that I've got. So we're going to be talking the collection. Now this is just Airsoft replicas that I'm going to be talking about. Everything that I can think of is going to be mentioned. This will not include accessories, optics, anything like that. Most of the guns don't have any accessories on them because I chop and change them. I can't have a full suite of accessories for everything that I own because it would just multiply the obsessive problem that I have. So first thing we're going to talk about is pistols. So let's get on with the show. There's two boxes here and this is full of pistols. So we're going to do a box at a time and this is going to be a nightmare. But I'll just talk about what's on top because that was stuff that I had forgotten about, and then as I was collecting everything up, found them. So Chopper Rhino, this is a small one. I used to have two of these. I eventually ended up moving one on to Andy at HC2 because he said he was after one. And this one actually has a broken hot rubber, which I can't get a replacement for. So it's kind of, that's the reason why I haven't bought more Chopper Rhino, Chiappa Rhino. I'm done caring, to be honest. This is a 30DS. They do a 40DS, a 50DS, a 60DS. I would have got the full suite, but when I found out how hard it was to get a replacement hot rubber for this thing, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to waste my money. So I've just kept this. This is a cool little revolver. Got a holster for it and everything like that. But there we go. I went through a holster obsession a while ago, and it didn't end well for my bank balance. So in this one, I've moved on a lot of pistols that I had, especially the revolvers. This is a 629 competitor. This was the really heavy one. It's the only one I have of the Umarex revolvers left, and the reason it's boxed is because it's brand new, and it's on the forums to be shifted, so I haven't managed to shift that just yet. Right, let's get into the pistols. So in box number one is just mostly Maruis. So first of all, I'm just going to pull them out of the box as they are. So we've got the HK45 Tactical. The Tactical comes with a threaded barrel. Comes with a little mini suppressor as well. Bought this. I bought it in tan because I think it looks great in tan. An extremely comfortable pistol, just not as snappy as some of their other models. Next up, we've got the Tokyo Marine HK USP. I'm mixing my words up now. USP. It's a standard USP. I've put a threaded barrel on there, and I've put a Garda tan frame just to make it look a little bit better than the boring pistol that it looked like before. So very cool indeed. It's a very unique pistol. I've had the compacts before. I had a compact not long ago. I ended up selling it to someone, a friend of mine, who was looking for a pistol. He's like, I'm looking for a pistol. I was like, got a USP compact if you want one. And he was like, yeah, it was brand new in the box with a bunch of mags. Away he goes. So what else have we got in here? I do have a Marui 1911. This is the M45 model. So it's modernized. It's got a very sort of Desert Warrior style look to it. I'm not a firearms expert by all means, but the M45, it's a very cool pistol, and I do like it. So that is the 1911 that I have. I also have a smaller 1911 type pistol, which is the D-Tonics, but this one is the Chisato. This was modeled after a gun in an anime called Licorice Recoil. I bought this because I watched the anime and I just wanted it, so I picked it up. These are ridiculously expensive for what they are. you can't really put any attachments on it in terms of like lights and stuff, and finding holsters for these things is next to impossible. So, but I just wanted it in the collection, that's why I bought it. So, lovely little snappy pistol, not for everybody. I do want to get more of the D-Tonics pistols and mess around with them. Before we get into the Glock stuff, let's, I've got a little, what was this, an LCP2? I can't quite remember. It's got the Hadron upper on there. I put an X-Fire, well, I can't remember the brand. Was it X-Fire? One of the barrels anyway. I put a nice inner barrel in this. I haven't even put the front sight post fibre optic in yet. This is just a 3D printed suppressor that I did, which I think I did end up cutting some foam for. I can't quite remember. Yeah, it's got little STFU baffles in there. It's a cool little pistol. I was just looking for ways to put, you know, a suppressor on there, have it lightweight. It kind of like seams into the look of the pistol. It was a very rush job on Fusion. And then I had it because I had an idea for it, and then never did anything with it, as with a lot of the stuff that I own. Recently, I picked up a 5.7. This was bought off one of the guys in Discord, Snasher, some of you might know him. He bought it. He was trying to get a clear kit for it, and then he was moving it on. I was like, bud, I'll buy it off you, because I've had tons of these pistols, and I was going to go pick one up anyway. So it does have a couple of marks on it, but honestly, I'm not too bothered about that. Just getting parts for these things now is nigh on impossible. Moving on, before we get to all the Glock stuff, I did buy a Desert Eagle, which I went with the chrome one, because I thought a nice big chrome pistol. I'm going to run around with this in CQB at one point and have some fun with it. But not as realistic as some of the other models on the market, like the Armor Works and the WE ones. But it works, it shoots pretty damn good out the box, and it's chrome, and it's a Marui. So straight into the collection. Right, my most recent purchase was Tokyo Marui's new P320. This pistol, I've used it in CQB, is phenomenal. I just run, this is like a SOTAC Surefire copy, and I just got a, I think it's a Deadly Customs holster. Funny enough, I had to get the SOTAC Lite because the Deadly Customs holster didn't like to work with my real Surefires, which was weird. So, and it was scratching up somewhat fierce. And I did, with this holster, I did have to modify it after it came to get everything to fit. But P320 so far has been phenomenal, and I will continue to use it. So 17 Gen 5 MOS from Marui, the pistol that was so good I bought another one. It's got some fancy bits on it because I've put this fancy compensated barrel on there. I do have a real Surefire on this one as well. It will no longer go in my Safariland. The Safariland holster is about £200. So I'm either going to have to remove the compensator off, which I think it looks really cool and it matches with the light, or modify the Safariland. So I might go down the modification route. The other Gen 5 MOS I bought had the Toxicant slide set on there, which they sent me. So I haven't really done much more with this. It was a bit of a bugger to fit. I need to get a red dot sight for it. And yeah, it's the whole reason I bought another Gen 5 MOS was so I could fit this slide, because they sent it to me and I didn't want to taint my original one, because I just like that the way it is out the box. I don't want to mess with it. Apart from like, mess with it in terms of like pulling slides off and stuff. It's a standard pistol, it's just got some parts on it. I do have a trigger to put in that soon. So it looks a bit daft without a red dot on it, but I've robbed it for something else. And yeah, in regards to the gun itself, it's never really been fired. I do also have a 17 Gen 4. I had this because I was anticipating the Gen 5 coming up, but I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to pick something up, so I picked this up. This has the same Gun Day branded barrel, but I think I'm going to take it off because it is foul in the slide. To be honest, I'll probably move this one on because I don't see me using it over the Gen 5 anyway. I have a 19 Gen 4. This is probably going to get replaced with a Gen 5 when they release it. It's got a, I can't remember what brand barrel this is, like a detonator one or something. And compared to the USP, this one does bind up sometimes with the 19, but again, I went for a tan colour on it because I wanted to, most of my pistols are black, so I wanted to mix up the colours. And finally, I've got a 18C. Can't really show you too much about these Maruis, but you get the point. So 18C select fire. The only downside to this, it doesn't fit in my real holsters, because this was made at a time when Maruis weren't closer to real steel sizes. They were a bit more oversized. So I need to get some kind of funky holster for that, but it's always good to have in the collection. If you're outside, maybe you're in a bolt action or a DMR, you want some close engagement stuff, but you want the ability to do some fun switch, that's there for that. So get the Marus out of the way, and then we'll be talking about what's in box 2. Right, box number 2. What do we have in box number 2? This is all the non-Maru stuff. That's really how I segregated it, but I'm just going to pull these out as I see them. First of all, we have the EMG and Army Staccato C2. This is a phenomenal pistol for the money. They're not expensive at all. It shoots amazing for the short, compact size that it is. It's that good that I will eventually pick up more models in the Army EMG T8 line. And I've got nothing bad to say. It's pretty good. You can see in some areas that it's a little bit cheaper, a brand new pistol, but it is coming from Army. But to be honest with you, it's probably one of the best buys I've had on a pistol for a while now. So the next one, however, isn't. This is the VFC Strike Industries P365. I think it's called the Simp or something like that. And it looks great, it feels great, but performance-wise, this is like in line with when VFC did the small Glocks, the little Glock 43s. It's kind of like that. It looks great, it feels great, but because it's so small, the magazines are small, everything like that, performance-wise, it's a paperweight. You can't depend on it. Sometimes it will fire, sometimes it won't. It's just, you know, boiling down, you know, a pistol down to a certain size. Now, Maru can do it with the D-Tonics and other pistols, but VFC unfortunately can't. So a lot of the VFCs, I've had problems with the pistols, but this, I've had it, and I'm probably going to end up moving it on. It's not really much use to me anymore, apart from this one, which is a new one, which is the PDP. Really comfortable, weird, quirky pistol. I can't wait to use it. Hopefully it doesn't let me down. It's a little bit different from your SIG and your Glock stuff, so I can't wait to put this through its paces. It's a PDP. It's got a Gunday barrel on it with a compensator, a little RMR sight on there. I think that's a Crusader trigger, top shooter base plate, top shooter mag plates. I think that's everything on it. I don't think there was anything else. So yeah, PDP, phenomenal looking pistol. Hopefully it performs just as good. Next one I bought because everyone goes on about these Novrich products, and I was like, right, let's see how it does. And in terms of a collector like me, or someone that likes the finer things in life, I'm a GBB enthusiast. I've lent more into that in these past years compared to years previous. This SSP-28 is designed for an airsofter, not a gas blowback enthusiast, if that makes sense. So it runs well. It's shot really well on the range. It's got a proper TDC on there. All these manufacturers saying TDC nowadays, they're throwing the term around like anything, and most of the time, 90% of the time when they say it, they're false. This has a proper TDC. It has a split slide. I think Novrich was saying that they were like some of the first people to do it. No, they weren't. ArmorWorks and WE were doing this years ago, but it's got its pros and it's got its cons. I picked up the E-Shooter Flare Cube BT just because it goes with this pistol, and it's okay. It does struggle. Now, I think this pistol is manufactured by Double Eagle, because if you look at some of the Double Eagle guns, they have these magazines with these specific base plates on. So it wouldn't surprise me if Double Eagle have had something to do with the manufacturing of this gun, or whether Novrich has just gone and bought these mags from Double Eagle and just supplied them with the pistols. For me, it was okay. It does trip up every now and again on the gas. So I think what I'm probably going to do, I did buy, I don't think I've got it here, I bought a Glock HPA adapter, one that takes the shot shells, and I think I'm going to try it with that, see how it gets on, but I'll probably end up not using it. You might remember this pistol, we built it a while ago, just taking an AAP and throwing every CTM Fuku 2-part on it that we could find in this purple and green colour. Initially I wanted to go black and red, but I had one of these green Loki hop units on the side, and I was like, I'll just match it to that. It seems to function okay until you start putting some mags through it, and then it just really isn't happy, and it usually throws a wobbly, but an insanely expensive endeavour. And yeah, it looks cool, kind of fancy. It's going to be superseded soon. We'll get to that later on though. Next one is an AAP, but it is got the hybrid lower on from TAP Airsoft. And as in regards to the TAP products, this is the one that's worked the best for me. So I've had the hybrid lowers for the MP9 and the G5. I've had a ton of problems with those. The AAP one, however, I whacked it on the pistol and away it went. It runs on ARP mags. Have I got one here? I might have. I think this is a G&G one. So you run it on ARP mags. I would technically, I do have like a couple of clear ones as well. These are insanely expensive mags. But I think predominantly, if I was going to run this, I'd be running it on the 70 rounders because it sticks out the same size as like what a 50 round Glock or high capper mag would. Putting the big mags on there, you're getting an extra 100 rounds, sure, but they stick out so far. It just makes the pistol a bit unwieldy. But this so far, I mean, we're talking about the lower, not the top. The top is something I built years ago. But yeah, there we have it. So next is a double eagle pistol, which is the FN509. I did have a couple of issues with this off the bat, and then after that, it seemed to be okay. It's a pistol that I bought, put together with some Aimwin stuff. Aimwin sent me the laser module and the red dot, and to be honest, the quality of these parts has been great. Just the battery and the laser doesn't last 5 minutes. It does have a little quick detach though, but the charging, I'm not going to mess with it now. The pistol itself feels great, but I bought it, I put all the bits on, it went in a drawer, and I never touched it again. And that's probably what goes for like most of my stuff. I buy it, a lot of this stuff you guys don't understand is I buy it to show you. I don't necessarily always buy it because I'm hell-bent on having it. This was a new release, I wanted to have a look at it, and I wanted to show you guys how it was. But so far, not any major issues with it. Again, having a holster for it because I'm running different lights on it, I'd have to get it done. Maybe I can reach out to like Deadly Customs or someone, or Kydex Customs, to do a holster for this, and we can get that underway. The next pistol I've had for an eternity, an FNX 45. I think I've had this pistol more than 10 years. I had two of them. I had it hydro dipped in this Cryptek pattern. This was a cheap Surefire light that I bought. It's a copy, and I ended up taking it apart, and I bought a huge LED module off the internet, and this thing was so bright, but it very quickly burnt out, and now that's all it will do. So I kind of destroyed the light. The orange SRO is a crap copy. It looks awful when it's on, but I had it for a cheap price, and this is where it sits just to take up the space instead of having loose screws everywhere. This pistol's been great over the years. I lost the thread protector on a Milsim in Wales, and yeah, ever since then I haven't got rid of it because it just holds sentimental value with me because I've had it for so long. Next is a pistol that I have used, which is my AAP01 Infinite kit. With this gun here, I don't have the normal mags I use, I do have an adapter. So you've got a gas, like a reservoir for the HPA, so you've got an expansion chamber here, and then you basically use stick mags, and usually the mags don't have this on, but you'll use a stick mag, so it runs on HPA. You can hold a ton of rounds with little to no weight whatsoever, but because it's with the Infinite kit, they have those specific mags, it still locks back on empty. So there's gameplays on the channel where I've been using this, and to be honest, it's a bit of a monster. It probably would benefit me to build it into a bigger top, because obviously running it like this, there's no space for me to put a light on or anything like that. I can put a tracer on, of course. The inner barrel comes right to the end there, and it's just a fun little gun. The rate of fire on auto is insane, but there's nowhere to really use it. So an insane expensive pistol. I think all in all, everything that I bought for this, the uppers, everything, it was just a package. I spent over £1,600. It's probably one of the best short videos I think I ever did, and it's a lot of people telling me there's no way I spent that much, and why would I lie? It's kind of an embarrassment really, rather than a flex. I spent a ton of money on this, and again, it's a cool, it's unique in its own way. Next one is a TTI TP22. An okay pistol. It was meant to contend with the AAP. It didn't quite perform as good as the AAP. It struggled on gas efficiency, and it would dump gas every now and again. They did a bunch of parts for it, like mag releases and fancy triggers. I actually really like this TTI trigger for it. It is superb. I need to check if there's any other guns that I can fit these into. This is just a cheap Grace Optics copy, and then of course a compensator in there that can be removed and put a tracer on. It's got semi and auto as well, and then I bought this years before. I felt like years before Novrich jumped on the bandwagon and called it the Novrich TP22. But TTI came up with it. It was available before then. Cool pistol. It's got a spiral fluted barrel on there. It was another accessory. But do I use it? No, not really. So, right, before we get into some of the more expensive ones in here, I bought a Elite Force Hater. This was during my obsession with revolvers. I did get rid of a lot of the revolvers, but I've kept this one just because they're cheap. They're meant to be really good, and I'll eventually end up doing something with it. I was thinking about putting like a 3D printed kit on it to spice it up slightly. So next is a Dan Wesson. This is a, do they call it a 615? I can't remember. The later versions of the Dan Wesson revolvers, and this one was probably the one thing I love about these ones specifically are the grips on them. They're absolutely perfect for me. And that's when I got into a stage of doing the easy shells, just made it a lot easier to handle. And again, I'll be hopefully be using this when I've got some way of carrying it. It's quite a bit of a heavy beast. So we've got another AAP here, which was just a bog standard AAP that I put into a Militech kit, which was like a cyberpunk thing. This was just me like very quickly printing it. It was the best file that I found. I covered this on the channel, so you'll be able to go find it. But I've got a next speed trigger on there. I think we had a next speed, next speed hop. So I put a bunch of upgrades on it, next speed mag release. But that didn't do anything, because what I want to do is I want to get all these parts professionally printed in SLS and then maybe send it off to someone like Gear Tech, who was replying to my messages but now doesn't anymore, and then making it into a fully fledged cyberpunk pistol. So I think that would be very cool. We've got this, which is the PTS Zev. Now, this isn't the insane edition one, which is insanely expensive, but they are about 250 quid. This is also, I believe, made by Double Eagle. You can just see familiarities there. It's done by PTS. Maybe they get Double Eagle to do base parts of the gun, and then they put their own upgrades and bits in there. £250 this will cost you UK, and I think that is far too expensive. I think this really needs to be like a 120 to 150 pistol. The grip is kind of strange. It's very square, not super comfortable, and to be honest, the performance out of it was a bit meh. It wasn't great. Next is the Crytek Maxim 9, and this thing has actually been pretty cool. There's certain things about it. I bought the tracer unit for it, which I would need to take out and charge it, because the Ace Tech, I think, is it an Ace Tech? They go flat and then you can't charge them if they haven't been used for a while. Insanely expensive pistol. Bought it because it's cool and it's different, and again, I've got holster for it. I could always take it to a game day. Maybe we'll do a thing in the new year where when I go to a game day, I can't always take the same stuff and I'll switch it out. I tried to do that this year, but it kind of fell on its arse. So there's all the pistols. I think there might be some lurking about, but less pistols. Let's start talking about some gas blowback SMGs. No, wait, we're not done yet, because I just found more pistols. These were just pushed to one side because they're boxed. If you didn't remember, Thor, a friend of mine living in Denmark, managed to find me some rare Resident Evil pistols. So we've got two M9s, very, very rare. I say rare, they sell out and then they don't tend to do them again. This was, I always forget, they're both Stars pistols. They were both character pistols, so they have similarities, but then some subtle differences. So that one was like a Chris Redfield, and one was the other one. I can't remember. You have to go watch the video. So two very similar looking pistols. The custom ones always have custom kendo shop on them. So he actually went to pick me up another pistol, which is the next one I'm going to show you. And the guy had those two, and he's like, "Do you want me to pick them up?" And I was like, "Sure." Another two pistols in the collection. They'll probably never get used. This one, however, was the one that I wanted, and I wanted it after I'd bought my USP, and they did a Resident Evil USP called the SG09R, and these things were ridiculously expensive, and they're getting more and more expensive because you can't buy them anymore. So it came in a unique box, so it's loaded in there like that with a bunch of mags. So there was two mags in there, and this is a USP 9 with a silver slide, a compensator. It's got the barrel plug in there, don't worry about that. It's got kendo on the opposite side, but it also has this finger groove grip as well, which is a little bit different. And this pistol is very, very comfortable to hold. I would love nothing more than to have this as like a dedicated sidearm and use it all the time. But I have seen reports online that during use, the silver rubs off quite easy and it shows like white plastic underneath. So I'm kind of on the fence. Part of me wants to say, you know, screw it, send it. If it you know, tarnishes, it tarnishes. And the other half of my brain is no, keep it, because someone someday might pay more for it than what I did. But these things are ridiculously expensive, and since I've had them, they've gone in the boxes and they've not been used. But it's just that collector in me that wanted these things, and I've got no rush to use them at all. So that's the pistols done now. See, again, I thought I was done with the pistols, and then I find another one, but this is only because it's a recent one. It only got delivered today. So I bought a CZ Shadow 2. This is going to be coming up on the channel very soon. I was down at HC2 and they showed me this. They pulled it out of the cabinet, and this is the Shadow 2 Orange, which they're like 260, 270 pound and more in the UK. It's a really, really heavy pistol. I believe it's all like machined aluminium, and then you've got these CNC parts. And then I was buying some stuff off WGC. I was buying the Strike mags and a couple of MWS bits. Spotted this on there, and it was cheap. It was like 160 quid, so more than £100 cheaper. And I was like, you know what, I was going to buy one anyway. Went with the CO2 one because honestly, knowing what I know about KJ Works stuff in past years, when you've got stuff like this, they always tend to shoot better on CO2. So I went with the CO2 model over the gas, got a bunch of CO2 mags for it, got it here. I actually went to film the video today and then realised I don't have any CO2 capsules, which is why it's been put on hold until the CO2 capsules turn up. So CZ Shadow 2 coming soon. I just wanted something a little bit different, diversify a little bit from obviously SIGs and Glock pistols. So yeah, now I think I'm done with pistols unless I spot another one. So onto the SMGs. No, found another one. It's only because I put this to one side and I put stuff on it. So I swear to God, I'm going to make sure on the SMGs that I do everything. But I also, when I picked up the PDP, I picked up a VP9 as well. Now, these guns are notoriously shit, and I knew it was going to be shit when I bought it, even though they say it's the new version 2 and it's got all these steel parts. Now, utter bollocks. This thing shoots, it feels great. It's the most comfortable pistol I've ever held, ever. But it is the worst performing bag of crap I've ever had. And I've had multiple of these just thinking, oh, maybe I got a lemon. Buy another one, get stung again. And then years later, I'm just looking for the PDP and I was like, I really want one. So I bought this knowing it's going to be crap, but my plan is to help try and improve it. If not, it's just going to be a nice wall hanger. It's just nice to pick up and play with because the grip is like super, super, super comfortable. So now I'm done. If I find another pistol, I'm not doing any more on the pistol section, but yeah, we're going to call it there. Onto the SMGs for real this time. Right, SMGs. Now, there's going to be a mixture here of gas. I think there's one electric gun that I've still got, and HPA. So, let's get the electric one out of the way here first. This is my LCT PP19. I went mad with this. Now, you'll have seen recently, I did a Ghetto Blaster in these colours, and I completely forgot that I'd done these colours before. Maybe it was subliminal. And I knew it's taking a PP19 and it's just making it a little bit more unique. I have tried to sell this a few times when I was thinning down my electric stuff. But honestly, I do need to replace the rivet that goes here that holds the mag well in. So I need to do that. And the problem is there's been so much money spent on this thing. It's going to be one of those things where maybe it doesn't sell because it's so expensive. So if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I'll just keep it on the wall as another wall hanger. So that's the only electric gun I can remember having. If I'm going through them and I spot more, then happy days. So before we get to the gas stuff, let's do the HPA. So HPA, I've got a previously electric Aries M45. I very recently converted this to HPA just because it was good. This holds a lot of sentimental value with me. Because when I was using electric guns, took this to so many games and I've got so many fond memories of using it that I didn't want to just move it on. So it's obviously been Cerakoted. This wasn't done in Magpul OD green, it was done in the normal OD green, which is a little bit off. Areas are a bit janky. This one, even when it was electric, running a silverback suppressor because they come 16mm threaded, was insanely quiet. And I haven't used it since I've converted it to HPA. Converted it to HPA was a bit of a ball ache, but if you want a guide on that, there's one on the channel. Go check it out. So, Aries M45. I've got tons of mags for this thing. I've even got like a random front end because they had quick detach front ends. So, again, probably won't ever do anything with this, but there you have it, Ares M45 SMG converted to HPA. Next, we've got a KWA TK45. I've had a couple of these. The last one I had was electric. I sold it to a buddy of mine. He still uses it and loves it all the time because it performs so good. My electric KWA TK45 was bronze. It was one of the first guns that I got into Cerakote with. And that gun was so good at 1 joule that it started to become annoying because I used to get pulled aside with it so many times on a game day. People saying that I was cheating because there was no way that I could reach out to like just ridiculous distances with it and hit them with an electric SMG running at 1 joule. One game day, the marshals got so fed up, they came and just followed me around and were like chronoing me every 15 to 20 minutes because they thought I was pulling a fast one. And then what I did in the end at this site, I gave it to the marshal, said, you hold it, here's a mag, it's .3s, they tested the ammo, put it through the chrono, it was shooting at 1 joule, and I was like, take your high vis off and go play with it for 5 minutes. And the guy came up to me and he went, what the hell have you got in that gun? Because not only do I need it right now. And that gun actually got sold to a friend of mine, Brian, so he still runs that. And I think he's coming in for a service soon. So this one, however, I bought off another friend of mine after selling that on the sole premise of converting it to HPA. So that is what I've done with this one. But again, it's been put on the side. I got massively into GBBs and it's just been sat there waiting to be completed. So this one looks a little bit different because it's got the front end off the Ronin 47. So instead of it being like a 6-inch rail, it's an 8-inch rail. So it looks a little bit daft, but we'll be doing something with that soon. And I'll be putting it into like a nice Cerakote colour. So TK45, KWAs, I loved them for a while. So do I have any SMGs over here? I do. We're on HPA first though. So the other one is going to look a bit daft because it's been stripped down for accessories to put on other stuff for certain videos. This is my MTW9. Wolverine themselves have reposted the videos that I've done on this for a while. This, when I had all the attachments on it and I first built it, was about $5,500 US it cost me to build it. About £4,500 pounds, real parts through the hilt. There was a lot of parts that I bought for it that ended up not being able to be used. But I spent thousands and thousands of pounds on this because at the time I'd been building up parts for a while. I bought the MTW9 and I bought this real thing and that real thing over a long period of time. I thought, you know what's going to be a really cool idea is putting all this cool real stuff that I've got, you know, £1,800 optics, you name it, everything went into this thing. Putting all that into this MTW9 and doing it as a video as the world's most expensive MTW. And I thought that video would do really well. And to be honest, it didn't do well at all. But this thing is an absolute monster. Last time I was running it at a game day, a lot of you guys were saying, how have you got it so quiet? It's just one of them things. I was running an STFU suppressor and the thing was so quiet that the people next to me were saying all they could hear was just the whiz of the 2.5 coming out. It's a phenomenal gun. After I built it, I hadn't used it for years. So the recent gameplay that I've got on this gun was the first time I used it since I built it, because I built it, it was so expensive. I put it in the gun rack and then I just didn't want to touch it. And I thought, if I don't go out and use it now, I'm never going to use it. Go out, get some scuff marks on it, and then you'll be good to go. So this gun is phenomenal, but it's had so much money spent on it with various different things that have been changed out since I originally did it, that it'd be too long to list. So no expense spared on this thing, and it is an absolute monster. The next SMG, which is HPA, is my Scorpion Evo, which again is very unique looking. Just, you know, disregard the white selectors. So this whole front end was designed to specifically take the Jaeger Precision STFU suppressor. This gun is quiet, but it's nowhere near as quiet as my MTW9. And to be honest, it works really well. So I just wanted something different. I wanted an Evo. The day, I mean, I knew that Toxicant were bringing out a gas blowback Evo for a while, but he told me not to say anything. And now it's been announced at MOA, all bets are off. So I knew about that a while ago. He told me not to say anything. I was like, no, I won't say anything. So as soon as the gas blowback drops, this will probably get left on the sidelines. So yeah, again, a gun that's had, I haven't really had to do much to it. I've just obviously designed me a new grip and a new front end. Those have been professionally printed using multi-jet fusion. And this thing looks very unique. People always come up to me and go, what front end's that? Where do I buy that from? And I'm like, hey, you can't. So people have asked me if we will do these front ends yes, but they are so expensive to make that I don't think a lot of you would want to do it. So maybe we might do a short run of them, see how they go. But yeah, there is my ASG Scorpion Eva HPA, which is got a very big can on it, and it's still integrally suppressed. The next HPA SMG is a hybrid. So this is the tap hybrid, which this was the second one they sent me. The first one didn't really work that well. This one does work a little bit better, but it still like trips up every now and again. So although this second lower that they sent me worked better than the first one, on this one, the stock's that loose that a lot of the time I don't like it, like literally wiggling around. Also, there's gaps all around the receiver where you might not see it clearly on this. Oh, there goes my microphone. But when you see it in person, where's the magnet gone? Lost the magnet. There it is. But when you see it in person, it's quite off-putting. Put that to there instead. So it's a little bit off-putting. So I really need to put some more time into this. But yeah, it runs off ARP style magazines, and it basically turns your KWA MP9 into a hybrid gas blowback HPA SMG. Right, let's get on to gas SMGs. I really do not know where to start with this. Have we got any over there? Yes, we have. So I picked this one up recently. It looks a bit daft at the minute because I've got the mock suppressor on here. This is a gun I've been trying to get for some time, which is the OG KWA Chris Vector. The only one I think was worth buying. I've looked at the Crytac, I've worked on the Crytac, and honestly, it's so boring. Now, I'm sure many of you have it and you use it and it performs great, but it doesn't even have a proper V system. So this one, you'll see, I might be able to show you, the bolt goes back and it goes down. The bolt itself actually goes down. On the Crytac one, the bolt just comes back straight, and then you've got a weight that gets angled down. Stop telling me it's got a proper V system in it. It does not. And honestly, it's just soulless. Where this one, luckily, I managed to get one. A phenomenal. Now, I don't want to do this yet. This needs a complete new overhaul because the barrel's loose and everything like that. So we will restore this to its glory very soon. So maybe in the new year. Vector, what we got? Right. Lambda Defense. Lambda Defense, what is it? GHM9. There we go. This is the version 2. I had a version 1. The version 2 takes an MP9 style mag instead of a Glock mag. This again has had some money spent on it. I bought the SD front end. I then had to buy the fat can separately because at the time, they might be doing it now, but they weren't selling this front end with the suppressor. You had to buy the whole front end, strip the old suppressor out, put the new one in. It's got the metal upper top, sliding stock, you know, the foldable charging handle thing here. So it's had a lot of money spent on it. I have tried to sell it a few times and people are like, it's not worth that much money. And then I'm like, you go spec this right now and tell me it's not a good deal. And they'll go and add all the parts to a car and go, okay, actually, it's not actually that bad priced. But yeah, it's another one of them guns that I built. It looks cool. It looks extremely James Bond, doesn't it? But yeah, in terms of take it out in the field, I've just never had an inkling to do it. There's so many other guns that I much prefer to shoot. Talking of guns I've been trying to sell, I'm not saying anything here, YouTube, calm down, but things that I've had on the forums. The Marksman 9, I bought this because I was intrigued. It's just again, it's a bit soulless. It's just a bit very generic looking. The hop-up unit is integrated into the start of the rail here, so you can't really like switch the rail out unless you do some heavy modifications. It takes VFC or Umarex Glock mags. It seems to work okay. It doesn't lock back. 90% of the time it won't lock back, even when the magazines are empty. It's got a horrendously horrible stock on it. I've tried to switch this out multiple times for real stuff and other things, and although they'll go on, it just won't work. So I ended up putting it in the box and planning to sell it. Now I think I'm just going to customize it and do something wacky with it. You know, if you can't find the joy in it, just go completely off the end of the rail and we'll just do something daft with it. So that is the Marksman 9 again. I have never used it in a game. Next, we've got the Well Pro PPK20. This isn't as it comes out the box. I have changed. This is a 3D adapter that you can get off Cults, which I modified a real Di-Frico grip to fit it. They also do a front end which changes it up a little bit, makes it look a little bit more palatable. I think what I will eventually do is swap this out for the actual PP19 model. As cool as this is, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's just a bit wacky. I'd much prefer a proper PP19, but that's not to say we won't do some more content with this thing. It's incredibly comfy with all these modifications. The guns shoot well. I have started modifying my magazines with TM fill valves, which has, you know, improved all the issues that I've been having with the mags with getting a proper fill on them. So I'll do a video on that soon about changing the fill valves out. So PPK20, we've got the APFG or VFC MPXs. So this is the one that I've got built on the Copperhead. I've also got my original one, which is this one here with a Midwest Industries handguard and a SIG style suppressor. There's quite a few people that have done them up like this. I think it does look very good. It's missing a bolt because I had to, basically, I built this one and then I went and bought the Copperhead upper. The Copperhead upper didn't come with a bolt, so it wasn't complete, and then I couldn't get the bolts. So they ended up buying another lower, which I got from JK Army, which does have the trades on it, and built it into the Copperhead. Now, this I have ran. There's a part on the bolt that's broke, which means the full auto doesn't work. But since then, I've bought all the parts to build up a brand new bolt to go back in this one. And then I will have 2 working APFG MPXs. Now, this gun is phenomenal in terms of like grin factor. It's probably not the most accurate or got the best hop unit system in it. However, I've always described this gun as pure violence, and that's exactly what it is. It's extremely snappy on semi-auto, and the full auto is just like, it's just Uzi levels of rate of fire. So yeah, the MPXs I've always liked them, but they both require some TLC to get them in tip-top shape. Next, we have some Maruyama stuff. So we've got the APC9 SD Pro, jiggery pokery, all the acronyms. I bought this because I bought the SPC9 and the MP9, and then I wanted to complete it. So they have these mags. Everyone doesn't seem to like the stickers on these, but you should go see. They showed me down at HC2, Archwick have just released an electric APC9. Go look at those mags and then tell me these mags look bad. They look bad. They look like straight out of a Lego set. Sorry, Archwick, but people don't like this style with stickers, but this looks real compared. So there is the APC9, cute little gun. I haven't really shot this one much. What I have shot though is the SPC9, which is basically the same lower. You just got a metal upper. There is a metal upper on that. What am I saying? It's got sliding stock. It's just a little bit different. I bought this. I think this is an RGW tri-lug can, which is a nice fat can that goes on there. And yeah, I've shot this in games. I've shot this on the range. It shoots incredibly well. Uses the same magazines. And the reason why I invested in this platform with this originally was because I was planning on buying something else, which is the Maruyama MP9. You can see where I'm going with this here. So I can have all the same magazines. This is a short one. And I can have 3 SMGs there. They're all a little bit different. Those 2 a little bit more closer. This one's not. And, you know, it's the first time a company's done an MP9 gas blowback since the KWAs. It was hotly anticipated. It has disappointed a lot of people. It runs on a Glock hammer system. But I had a game with it and it shot pretty damn good, to be honest. I was shooting it in really cold environment and it didn't do too bad. But, you know, what I have found is if you're using the fun switch on this thing, it cools down pretty quick. And yeah, but they give you, the suppressor comes in the box. So you can open this up here. Now this little 3D printed thing wouldn't normally be there. So you get it like this, it's empty. You can put your trace unit on there, hide it in here, and it's a no-brainer. Maruyama knocked it out of the park with this. This is just something that I printed and use basically, so when I'm not using a tracer, this is perfectly sized to go on the inside of the standard suppressor, and it takes away that very weird like pong noise when you fire it, because obviously this is empty. So that little 3D printing thing is designed to do. So there is the Maruyama MP9. Now moving on, what are we going to go to next? SMGs. I've got a Marui MP7. I bought the TAM one because it was the only thing I could get in stock at the time. I've since bought some upgrades and accessories. I bought this little Surefire can from 6mm overseas. Now, when I bought it, I ordered it for the Marui. They sent me the one that's threaded for the VFC. So I complained about it, and then nothing happened for a while, and then randomly this again turned up at the door, so I can finally put it on here. I was working on an end pass for this thing, and I have been for some time. I have seen that someone else has made and attempted it as well and has released a product, and it's very close to the wire of how I did mine. So I'm stepping back from that just a little bit, because you know what these haters are like in the forums. If I drop that now, even though I've been working on it for the past 4 or 5 months, they'd just say I copied it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to stop. I'm going to attack it in a different angle, and we'll go from there. So there is my MP7, which is a Marui one. Performs very, very well. Just every now and again, you put like a full mag in it and you rack it and you just get a dead trigger for some reason. I'm yet to find out why that is. Right, excuse me. Moving on. We've got, I have had various other SMGs like the MP5 from VFC. That ended up being a massive disappointment. From VFC, it shot really well indoors. I was really impressed with it, and then I took it out to the range, and you got so much VFC cope with this stuff sometimes. I took it to the range and I shot it, and it shot like an utter bag of shit. And then you get all these people coming, you need to get that gun that's brand new out of the box, you need to completely strip it down and degrease it and do this and do that. And honestly, there's so much VFC cope, it is sickening. And majority of the guns that I buy, including a lot of VFC stuff, I don't have to do that. Mariama MP9, I didn't have to do that. APFG MPXs, didn't have to do that. Mariama SPC, APC9, I didn't have to do that. Tokyo Marui MP7, I didn't have to do that. So why is it expected that we spend a fortune on this stuff and we have to completely strip it down and make it like new when you've just took it out the box? It's honestly, it's preposterous. But I'm not exactly saying that the gun is rubbish. I'm just saying we took it to the range, it shot like a bag of crap. I brought it home, and when I took this whole thing apart, it was like someone had got the gun and dumped it in a bucket of oil and then cleaned the oil off the outside. So I have cleaned it out since then. I'm going to wait till the weather's better to go and give it another try, because if I go and try it now, people are like, oh, you're shooting it in the cold. It's just, honestly, excuses. Love the gun, love the way it shot, just the accuracy at range was not good. Let's just leave it there. So what else have we got? Let's find something else. Here in this box, I've got the Archwick APC9, which initially I did have good experience with, but then not so good. So I've got a ton of mags for this thing. And then what I've ended up doing is I've ended up putting it back in the box to just, I think I'm just going to move it on. It looks great. It feels great. But in terms of performance out the box and just how it shoots, I'm sorry, Archwick, but Mariama have got one over on you, and they've done it slightly better. So not hating on Archwick at all. It just doesn't tick the right boxes for me to keep it. Apologies, I had to skedaddle downstairs because I forgot one, which is the Northeast Mini Uzi. This thing, when we did the range test on it, honestly, this has surprised me more. I expected, because I'd shot the early Uzis, you might go all the way back to the video I did with the 2 Uzi problem or the 3 Uzi problem, I can't remember what it was called. I expected this thing to be an utter lump of lard, but I was quite pleasantly surprised with it, should we call it that. So it shot well in CQB. We took it out on the range and it shot phenomenal for what it is, an open bolt gas blowback Uzi using heavy ammo, and they just went out there and they just kept on going. So it is heavy. It's more of a collector's item for me because I don't really see, although it shot good, it's not on that level where I can depend on it all the time. If the mags were super efficient and every time you pull the trigger it shot exactly the same as it did before, it would be, but it is insanely heavy for what it is. It has sort of opened a door, because Northeast did actually contact me, and they were basically asking if they could use the videos that I've done on the Mini Uzi, and people like Evike, are they okay to share the videos? Absolutely fine. So I was then talking to I was then talking to Northeast about possibly seeing their FAMAS. So they might hook us up with a FAMAS to show off to you guys, which I can't wait to see. Right, I think that's it for the, oh no, I missed one. So I've missed a HPA one actually. This was the Sub 5, I think it was by ATI. This was basically a fully 3D printed conversion kit. It is insanely expensive. Honestly, most of you would look at it and go, absolutely not. This is thousands of pounds worth of investment. So you buy the kit, then you shove your own engine, your own hop unit, your own barrel. and I bought it, and it runs on ARP style magazines. Now this was a G&G one that I had to cut to modify. So 170 rounder, and it's basically, it's the lightest replica that I've ever held because it's professionally 3D printed, but it's like fully 3D printed. It's either SLS or MJF. It uses carbon fiber as well. It weighs absolutely nothing, but I haven't got to the point of taking it to a game yet because the magazines that I want to use, I need to modify because I want to use these short 70 rounders as well, which go in just. So I'm hoping they fit so I can use them. So I need to modify all those mags, and then we'll take it out to a game. But this might become excess to requirement because we've got a very cool thing on the way, which is hopefully landing this week. So I think that's all the SMGs. Now, if you've seen stuff on the channel and I haven't mentioned it, I apologize, but I'm looking at such a pile of guns right now that honestly, I don't know what I've missed and what I haven't missed. So we're going to call it for the SMGs. I don't see anything else in my peripheral view. And we're going to move on to the rifles. Now I'm going to split the rifles into two categories. It's going to be MWSs and everything else. So I'm going to get organized and then we'll be back to talk about my rifles. Right, MWSs. This is going to take me a minute. I don't actually have to know how many MWSs I have. So when we're talking MWSs, we're talking about everything involved in it, whether it's closely based on it or loosely based on it. So we're just going to run through it. Now, the first thing I'm going to start with is the CGS ones that I have. So we have the Strike Industries PDW from EMG, Cyma, CGS, T8, whatever you want to call it. I bought this because I originally got sent the Noveski N4, and it's very dusty because it's been just parked up for a while. But in terms of the way it functions, everything like that, it's got great recoil. It's really punchy. The auto seems to work pretty okay for what it is. However, accuracy and range on this thing, as you'll have seen in the range test, was not good at all. So this thing was insanely expensive to buy for what it is. I just think it's something a little bit cool. I always look for models that are just a little bit different to what I normally have. So Strike Industries is a very short one. It's got all the Strike Industries parts on it. So in fact, we could actually finish this off now with a Strike Industries mag. It actually looks pretty cool in that, I'm not gonna lie. So there we have the Strike Industries Cyma CGS. They're a little bit different from the MWS platform. Now, the first one that I got was this one, which is the N4. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to tell this, but you see how the rifle's slightly bent. This was actually provided to me free of charge by Evite Europe. They wanted me to do some review stuff. So they agreed to send me one over. It was to help them as well out with a promotion that they were doing. So it opened me up into the CGS line. They did ask me what I'd looked at. I did say, look, I'm a gas blowback, mainly gas blowback channel. I haven't looked at the CGS line yet. Have you got any models you can send me? And they're like, yeah, sure, we got you. And so I got this. So this actually shoots really well. It is high power for what it is. So it needs to be downgraded, but I hadn't really planned to use it as of late. So the other N4 that I had was the double eagle one, which was great, but I ended up replacing it with the Ghetto Blaster. So yeah, two guns in the CGS line. There's going to be some more soon, but we'll get to that later on in the video. So Strike Industries PDW and Noveski N4 from Cyma, CGS and EMG. Now, for the more closely kept MWS stuff, I'm just going to start one side of the room and go to the other. So we have the very lately produced Daniel Defense Mark 18, fully licensed through EMG again, but this is made by Double Eagle. And this gun, to be honest, I think, looking at the stocks, I have seen the real stocks now. I think the stocks are slightly oversized because the real one that I felt was much smaller than this, or it felt smaller. So maybe they've just got the geometry a little bit off there, but it's a Double Eagle MWS. It works the same as all the other Double Eagle MWSs. Parts compatibility is great, and it's an out-the-box Mark 18. You don't have to do anything to it. It comes trade. It comes with all the bits on. The pistol grip is what surprised me the most about Daniel Defense's stuff. The pistol grip is just so insanely comfortable. It's got plastic with a rubber overmold, and it just seems to fit my hands really good. So Mark 18 from Double Eagle. Another one from Double Eagle I bought again because it was a little bit different. This is the Double Eagle Aeronox AX15. It's very odd looking. So you don't have a dust cover. You don't have a forward assist. You do have the 60-degree selector they put on their ghetto blasters. It's a very odd looking receiver. But the reason why I liked it, because I had picked up the electric guns that Double Eagle do for this. And I always loved that little cutout where they've got the rail. So it's never comfortable holding over wrist rails, especially when the wrist rails are quite sharp. So having that little cutout, it performed really well. It's got a huge butterfly flash hider, which I kind of like, but I do swap it out for a tracer from shooting indoors. Got some real Magpul bits on there, which I've stolen off one of the AKs. So yeah, it shoots really well, just as good as all the others. It's just a slightly different looking M4, which is why I picked it up. They also do a shorter version of this now. So this is going to take me a while, guys. You just have to bear with me. Right, moving along. I have, this one here is basically a Marui URGI. However, this was a Mark 18. I bought a bunch of guns from one of my customers. So he calls me up one day, he says, I'm selling a bunch of guns, are you interested? I've got a Tokyo Marui Mark 18, I've got a APFG SIG Spear LT, and a Double Eagle Ghetto Blaster, and we did a deal where I bought all three. It was kind of expensive, but did a deal. They all come with the attachments and stuff, and then basically what I did, this was the Mark 18 that I got. The Mark 18 rail was all munched up inside the barrel nut, so I took that off, and I fitted a HAO URGI, and basically it's a Mark 18 that gave me a URGI, so that is the way I run it. Just got some cheap accessories on here for now. I was just trying to like get a feel for the rifle and how I wanted to set it up. So Tokyo Mark 18 that's been converted to a URGI. Right, next, I'm talking a lot here, so probably need to go get a drink of water in a minute. I think this was the first Toxicant I bought. Toxicant Airsoft MWS SIG Rattler. Now this thing is, you do have to build them up because they come without barrels and stuff. So I put a couple of upgrades in this thing, and this thing is an absolute monster. The range, I've always said that short barrels for me work better at all ranges. But it's been through a few iterations of accessories. It's now stripped down because I've took the accessories off and put them on other things. Now this came in grey, it was Cerakoted by them. But if you do look closely, you might be able to see it on camera, you've got a silver line underneath the rail here where when you're doing Cerakote, and take it from me because I do a lot of Cerakote, when you're painting the rails, you want to fan the paint like at an angle up and at an angle down, and they haven't angled it down and done it this side, so there's just a gap there where the Cerakote hasn't took. I've got this huge, this is I think a CGS can, and it's just got one of these real steel all Fednar covers. So this has been parked up for a while. I will take it out for a spin soon, hopefully. But my first Toxicant, I had a great experience with it. Next down the line, I mean, going in no particular order, I'm just going as I see them, was the Guns Modify Scar L. This has been heavily modified. Now I run this one of two ways. I either run it with the MREX rail on here, or I've also got a grenade launcher for it. So I originally bought the grenade launcher because I went to a weekend event where I wanted to use tag rounds. I spent a fortune, I'm talking between like £600 and £800 and loads of tag rounds. I was going to go to that event and just be a grenadier and just shoot some pyro. And then the day before the event, they banned pyro. So you can imagine how angry I was. So I ended up turning it back and putting an MREX rail on there, which is a PTS one. The stock is a CNC TAC one. I did buy another stock, which is down there somewhere, which I fitted and was horrendous. So I took it off, bought the CNC TAC one. That went on there, Die-Frico grip. Got some Holosun optics on there at the moment. We did try this out with a Top Shooter CNC steel bolt, but it shot so worse that I ended up switching it back out. I've took this to a few games, I took it to a few weekend games, and to be honest, it's performed pretty much okay. So not really too bad at all. Right, next down the line of the Guns Modify one, you've seen it many times before, is a Guns Modify 416. Now, this has been modified again, Die-Frico grip, smells funny. It's currently got a PTS Sandman tracer suppressor style thing on there, and this rail, I can't remember what this rail's called now. It evades me, but this rail was basically built for the UMREX and the VFC one. I bought it from CRW Airsoft because it said for the VFC, for the UMREX one. Bought it on a whim. I was like, I'll just try it on the barrel nut. Ended up going on the barrel nut absolutely perfectly, and it just transformed the way this gun looked. So took off that old handguard, put that one on there. Got some funky, I don't know what's going on with these sights. These are Unity mounts, and I've had hit and miss with the PTS Unity mounts. I've got 3 now, somewhere that I've bought that don't actually fit any of the red dots they're meant to fit. There's actually one there. This is the MRO mount that I bought. Does not fit any MRO that I have. How these companies get away with it, I don't know. So there is my Guns Modify 416. Not the best on full auto, but to be honest, I'll probably be only using it semi-auto anyway. Right, on to the next one. I'm not going to talk about the spear because it's loose MWS. I'll cover that in the next one. But Toxicant Spear CSAW. This is basically like a Spear LT, but it's a special version called the Close Support Assault Weapon or something like that. I can't remember. It's got a funny acronym. The CSAW doesn't have the ambi-bolt release because a lot of people have been saying, where's your ambi-bolt release? It hasn't got one. The Spear LT has one. The CSAW does not. And this gun is phenomenal. They're expensive, but this is probably one of the guns I've shot the most because when I got it, it shot that well when I put my choice of upgrade parts in it. It quickly became the one that I use all the time up until recently. So this is a VFC SIG stock, which I think the real ones are exactly the same. They wobble about. Cheap 3D printed irregular defense cheat riser. £1,800 worth of Me Pro optic there, which it does go, flits from one rifle to the other. Got the Toxicant suppressor on there, which is just a dummy one. Die-Frico parts. I think I've got the fancy trigger unit in here. Yes, I have. And the thing is just an absolute nail driver. You do have to make sure all these pins for your charging handle are glued in place because they will out the back. And it did happen on a weekend event. So yeah, phenomenal rifle. Next is the Salvo Virtus. Very dusty. It's currently got no bolt in it because I bought a steel one, which I need to put in there, which is downstairs. Just to try out the Salvo offerings of the MCXs. And to be honest, it shoots all right. The stock is loose up and down, but it's just one of them things. And it shoots all right, to be honest. It's not too bad at all. It needs some upgrade parts in it, but if you want to get into MCXs, especially MWS MCXs, it's the cheapest option. They do so many models now. The reason why I haven't done more Salvo MCX models is because I've been waiting for the new stuff to come out. So they've done an RSAR, which I was going to get the Toxicant one, but I might just get the Salvo one. Who knows? And they're doing the Hunter, which comes with a tracer. So we'll have a look at that soon. Next is my original Mark 18. This is a Tokyo Marine Mark 18 as it is. I think, like, I haven't touched this gun in so long that it doesn't even have an impasse in it. It has my old downgrade valves in it. It does have a nice hop and barrel in there. And honestly, I can't remember anything else. It's got a PTS Radian charging handle. And I don't think I've ever took this out to a game because I've got so much other cool stuff that I could be using. So what I might do is just switch this out for the newer rail. I think it might be a bit too long, but maybe we'll just keep it as it is and we'll keep that rail for something else. But there it is. Tokyo Mark 18 as it came out of the box, barring the Magpul grip and trigger cover, whatever you call it. Right, there's a Mark 18. This one, however, is something very different. Very expensive build, this. This is a Tokyo Marine MTR 16, but it's been massively modified, everything stripped apart. Real Magpul stock, real Magpul grip. You'll see the colour matches very well because the whole thing's been Cerakoted. It's been swapped out for a long Z Parts Geisley handguard. Everything's been coated in Magpul Stealth Grey. It's still got the MTR fluted barrel just because it's a DMR with the MTR flash hider there. The scope, I'm running a Primary Arms SLX6, which is a phenomenal scope, expensive, and a real mount. And then all the other parts, like the bolt and the barrel, have been finished in blackout. And yeah, I still need to, I've got the part, I found it earlier. Still need to swap this out for a faux or like an actual functioning forward assist. You do have ambi on this because of the MTR 16. The only reason it was built on an MTR 16 is because the MTR 16s come with plain receivers. And to finish this build off, it's been finished in the Super Duty stuff. So very, very expensive build, but enjoyable nonetheless. This is one I picked up recently, which is the Double Eagle Noveske N4 SD. So it's basically a Double Eagle Noveske N4. However, it's got a fat handguard in it, and the suppressor is dropped back into the rail. And what is cool about this is it comes with a trace unit out of the box. You haven't got to buy that separately. So I haven't got round to shooting this yet. It's just in the queue to be done. But again, another cool rifle from Double Eagle to add to the collection. Next, again, is an expensive gun. You're seeing these come into the UK now. When I ordered mine, I ordered it because they said it was on pre-order, it was due soon. Ended up waiting like a long time. Me and many other people waited a long time for it. So this is the Salvo Precision BRN 180 Deluxe. So the Deluxe is, because they've got the standard version coming out now, the Deluxe has the proper lower receiver. Everything's CNC machined. The non-deluxe model comes with a cast receiver, which is just a normal M4 receiver. So this thing's really good. It shoots really well. It's obviously recently been Cerakoted, which you can check that video out on the channel, in champagne, which is to mimic the anodized color that Q uses on their stuff. I think what I'm just going to do is I'm going to end up painting the rail and maybe the stock in like a gray color to give it that two-tone effect. So very good gun, shoots extremely well. It shot well on the range, even though it only had the standard hop and barrel in. When I did the Cerakote, I did a new barrel, a new hot rubber, so we needed to get this thing out there. But in CQB, it was wicked. Very responsive and very quiet, which was kind of surprising. So BRN 180, that's looking unique now. An expensive gun nonetheless. Another expensive one is my Tokyo Marine MWS that's in a Nova M733 kit. It's got all the Colt markings on there, the correct markings, which are M16A2. I was going to build this gun. I was going to buy an MWS and I was going to go and buy all these parts. And the gun was just running into the thousands to build. And then I went onto Boom Arms one day in Hong Kong and they had them pre-built, ready to go. So it was an MWS in a Nova kit with a front end and they were like 800, 850 quid. So I jumped on it and I bought it. It sat on my wall for a long time because I didn't want to use it. I ended up loaning this to Kicking Mustang because he was going to Belgium. And I didn't tell him about overloading the MWS mags and he ended up breaking it. It wasn't his fault. He'd just got an overloaded MWS mag and he tried to get it in there, couldn't get it, forced it and it broke the nozzle. But I had a spare, so it wasn't a problem. But the only reason I did that is because the gun needed to be used, get dirty, pick up some scuff marks, because it was so pristine on my wall, I just never wanted to touch it. So the kit that they sent me had a cheap handguard, so I bought a real handguard. These are like 20 quid off Brownells. And then eventually I was running a crappy King Arms red dot and eventually bought a real aim point, a second hand, just to put that on there. And this is obviously much better. So very fun retro build. It's got a Ferro Concept Slingster, which sits on there permanently because it doesn't have QD points. It's just round the barrel. So very cool build if you want to go retro. M733. Massive fan of the film Heat. I watched it recently actually and I forgot most of the film, but fantastic retro build if you want to mix it up because everything's fancy pantsy nowadays. Now, a gun that has been shot a lot, it's been shot within an inch of its life, is the Double Eagle Noveski Ghetto Blaster. This thing has been used a lot. It's been used a lot to the point where it's got that gunked up from firing it that most of the time when this malfunctions, it's just due to poor or overdue maintenance. So there's my Honey Badger Ghetto Blaster. Very cool indeed. I've got the flash hider off the XM7 on there. And yeah, run it as it is. And to be honest, I can't recommend these things enough. Sometimes they can be a bit picky on magazines. But apart from that, absolutely an utter monster. For CQB as well. So that's most of the MWS stuff. I do have another one, which is this one down here, which has been an ongoing project for some time. It's just a kit I bought. This was, the innards in here are my first, not my first, maybe my second or third MWS, but the first MWS that I had that I was taking to every game day. And it was put into one of these Dytac SLR kits. And it's changed, like the only scratches on this thing are where it's been stored. It's changed iterations so many times to the point when they brought out a new SD handguard kit, which I had for this, which I've got a Trash Panda suppressor on there. Everything needs to be Loctited together because as you spin the suppressor on, it starts unthreading the barrel and stuff. So this needs to be updated. I'm not sure where it's going to go with it yet. I'm going to try and get it done next year, but it does have a Guns Modify stainless bolt in it, which is the gold colour. It doesn't even have a hop and a barrel in it at the moment, so God knows where those parts are. So that wraps it up for the MWSs, I think. So MWS is good to go. I told you it's going to be a long video. You guys wanted it. So next we'll move on to the non-MWS rifles. Right, Some of these are Maruis, but none of it's like M4MWS stuff. So first I'm just going to kick it off with a recent build that I finished, which was my Silverback Airsoft MDRX, which has been converted to HPA, which has been a project that's been ongoing for too long. However, this thing is insanely quiet, and it was a bit of an absolute nail driver. I did put it through its paces in an event that I was massively outmatched, which was the private event we went to. In that game, it's all marshals who like run the site or regulars that are going there every single week, and they know all the angles. We got creamed, but it was good fun using it. It was super quiet, takes EPM1 mags, and it's super low profile. And I was being cheeky at one point because they were at a barricade right down the other end of the site, and you'll see in the video I'm firing it like this, and I was curving the BBs just around the corner and hitting them around the corner. So very cool little rifle. Started off as electric, ended up as HPA. So there's that one. Let's have a look what else we've got over here. We've got a VMP2, which again, since I put it together, I'm just not excited about it at all. So I've put one of these HPA kits on it, and we're just gonna do something wacky with it. It's a project in the works. It just needs to be finished. So they're just very, very boring guns. For a GBB enthusiast, it's just as limp as the KCO2, but if you love that kind of thing, then all the world to you. Now, this rail was actually on my SLR MWS build, which has come off and on this, which is kind of a good fit. So we'll get to it eventually in due time. Another HPA powered gas blowback is the hybrid lower for the GHK G5. What this does, it takes a gas blowback GHK G5, converts it to HPA, and then you run Scorpion Evo AEG mags in it. And just like the MP9, I've had a lot of issues with this, which is why I haven't used it yet. It plays up non-stop. The AAP kit I had off them just worked straight out of the box, but the MP9 and this G5 one have been there's been times where I've literally wanted to grab it and just wrap it around a tree, but we'll get there eventually. We don't always have a lot of time for this stuff. So GHK G5. Right, moving along, we've got a VFC, which is the G36C. I actually really enjoyed this. However, we then started buying parts off of, I forgot the name of the brand now. It's like a Clutch Precision, is it? So I bought the Clutch Precision M4 conversion magwell for this thing, and it is an utter pile of crap. Sorry, Clutch Precision, but this kit is the worst kit I've ever fitted into anything. It just will not work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert it back to G36 mags and just throw this conversion kit in the bin, because honestly it's just not worth your money, but seems to be pretty good. I've got some fancy front ends for it again. It's just one of them guns that's been put to the back of the queue, and we'll deal with it when we get to it. Right, I'm just going to go around the room. PTS, was it a PTS? So this is the, PTS KWA gas blowback Masada. I've tried to get this for a long time. I eventually got one. It shoots rather warm, so it needs to be downgraded before it can be used, which is why it hasn't been used. And when I bought it, it came with a completely busted hot rubber. But a cool gun to have in the collection nonetheless. It's very unique, very, Modern Warfare 2. I do love it, but I'm just not in any position to use it as of yet. It does shoot about 2 joules, so at the moment it's not usable. We'll get to it eventually. Right, future James, travelling back in time because I'm editing this stuff. I hope you all appreciate it. It was like 4 hours of video I've had to edit down. Yeah. And realised as I was editing the other rifles that I missed 2. So the 2 I missed are KWAs, and the 2 are the KWA LM4. I bought this, ignore the obnoxious ACOG on there, but I bought this to try out the LM4 system, and for the most part, it shot okay. Running it in CQB, it's a heavy beast. It kicks good. The mags seem to work well. It shares mags that I can chuck in the PTS Masada, but yeah, neither nothing good or bad to say about it really. It's not a massively popular platform because VFC and Marui's just took over and everyone's copying their system now. But it was something a little bit more diverse in terms of where it comes from, which is why I picked it up. So yeah, KWA LM4, do a couple of models. Again, I think I just threw this ACOG on there just to store it because I was sick and tired of like pushing it off the side. So I shoved it and I put it on the LM4, which is the wrist model. The other one is the Lithgow Arms F90, which shoots really, really well. 2 problems with this. It's a little bit too long. Sorry, 3 problems with this. It's a little bit too long. It's ridiculously heavy for what it is. And it shoots really hot, so I need to downgrade it. But in terms of it actually functioning, semi-auto, full auto, works absolutely fine. I've got a ridiculous Strike Eagle Vortex on there at the moment. It was just, as I was running this, I think on the day when I was doing the gauntlet stuff, when I was running the LM4 and this, because they're heavy rifles and I was holding it out for a while, it killed my supporting arm. But yeah, what I want to do is downgrade it. It does have a short inner barrel and it still shoots hot, but I think they take similar valves to like the MP9s. So downgrade the power, and then what I want to do is I want to take this barrel from here to literally just in front of where the rail ends. And yeah, those are the 2 rifles that I forgot. So back to the video, and I'll try and slip this in somewhere. So right, I need to get all these MWSs out of the way. Here we go. Well Pro AK-12. I think these are massively overpriced for what they are. It's not Marui AK compatible, so they've done a lot of things differently, which annoyed a lot of people. They should have just made it a 1-to-1 to work with the Marui AKMs, and they probably would have had a better time. It doesn't shoot bad. I think it's mainly let down by the magazines. It's got a nice rate of fire on it. It's a bit wacky like the PPK-20, but yeah, not a bad little shout. If you literally want to pick a singular gas AK to have, it's probably not the worst, but it's not the best option for you to go for. Right, this was a version 3. I think it was a URGI. I think the rail's down there, yeah. So this has been through multiple iterations. It's a version 3 M4 by VFC. Feels great when you shoot it. It's got a lot of kick to it. It's okay in CQB, but in terms of accuracy wise at distance, honestly, they're nowhere near what an MWS can achieve. I did also buy the Maple Leaf bolt action upper, this has got the original handguard for this on there. So this actually didn't shoot too bad at all. It just kept jamming up on the mags. So it was more of a project for me, just messing around with stuff. This front end's going to come off and go on something else, and then I'll return it back to normal. But I won't be surprised if I just move it on for new things, because I think I've had enough of VFC M4s for now, to be honest. But there you have, version 3 M4. I believe they're better than the earlier versions. And this was another gun I got in that deal, which was the APFG Spear LT. It feels great. It's got a nice chunk to it. It's got a big steel bolt. Just again, accuracy-wise at distance, utter dog shit. I'm sorry, I'm just going to call it as it is. Maybe people get better results out of theirs, but I'm definitely not getting the results out of mine. I have spent some money. I've upgraded all the hop system to the RHD set. So again, we're going to give it its fair trial. Once the weather's better here in the UK, it's not as cold, I'm going to get back up on the range and see if any of those upgrades have actually done anything at all. Right, Marui AK. This was an AKM. It has been massively modified. I did buy a front end for it that wasn't meant for it, but due to massive modification, we actually managed to get it to fit. So this is a Crook front end, M-Lock front end. We've also got the Crook or KPYK stock. I bought a 5KU grip adapter, and I put a die-free co on there because I just wanted it a bit more angular, because you can actually get this stock really short. So it does help to have a more flat angled grip compared to something that's more canted forward when the gun's close to you, because you don't want to be holding it like this. You want to move your grip down like that. It's being used as a test gun at the moment. So this has got the new M-Pass that I've done for the AKs. Might have talked about in video, but I've done an M-Pass for the Marui AK system, which is a new one. We've completely changed the way that we've done it, and that'll be due very soon. The pre-order is currently on the website. So there we have the Crook AK that I'm building out of a Marui. So put that down. We can talk about this thing now, because it's not really an MWS, but it's kind of based on it. But this is the Toxicant Spear, which is the XM7. Insanely expensive gun. It was like £1,500 to buy it. I've put a load of bits in it. Technically, it should shoot good. We're just having issues with the magazines, but I have started trialing fixes for that, and I have found something to improve them. Just haven't got round to shooting a video on it just yet, but insane expensive what they are. Many people love to hate this thing from Toxicant because it wasn't perfect and it was expensive. APFG are bringing one out very soon, and I can guarantee you that one will feel great. It'll have good recoil, but I bet you the barrel performance is just like the rest of them. So we'll see. Right, XM7 out the way. We've got a very sorry looking SAG Mark 2.1 AK. This is my original AKM. It's missing the stock at the moment because that's on the Aeronox, but I basically run it with a Magpul, what's the name of the stock? CTR stock and a Magpul grip. And to be honest, this thing chugs along pretty happily. It's got the aggressive recoil spring in there. But again, it's just parts have come off it to go on to other things so I can shoot content and use the guns in a game day. So there is AK SAG. Coming along here, another one here, which is the APFG ISO 556, which I wanted to love. But again, it's a gun that I haven't seen any performance out of this like all the other reviewers say that you do. That it's great at range and it performs great and this, that, the other. Honestly, this has been a massive disappointment. I wanted to love it. I've actually just realised I could have bought one of those blocks for this. I missed that. So we'll revisit again in the summer, but at the moment, this thing, not really worth the money. A bit of a waste of money, to be honest. So that is the ISO. Lastly, from the non-MWS gas blowbacks is the KS1. This is the latest iteration, the version 4. It's supposedly the best one that they've done so far. As a replica, it looks and it feels great. The stock is super freaking loose, but you know, we could easily sort that out with a bit of tape or something. I don't really feel like we should. Why can't they just make a stock that fits a stock tube and is nice? I don't know. But we've put some upgrades in it since. The hop tool we have to buy separately. I bought mags for it. I did recently pick up the official VFC KS1 suppressor, which they give you a flash hider that is the same as the flash hider that comes on it, but they don't give you a flash hider that has a grub screw. It's just got a big fat hole. So when you try and put the suppressor that's made for this gun on, you put it on there, you start to click it round, and then it unthreads the flash hider, and no matter how hard I turn that flash hider, it always happens. So you can't actually tighten this up because it turns the flash hider off. Honestly, you couldn't come up with it. You honestly couldn't come up with it. So yeah, I've got a bit of a sour taste in my mouth with this bloody thing. Trying to put this on and get it tight so it doesn't, it's come loose again. It's a pain in the arse. However, it's a really nice gun, but it's ridiculously expensive for what it is. In terms of CQB, how the gun fires, recoil, everything like that, it's super nice. In terms of range and accuracy outdoors, more of the same, unfortunately. Couldn't recommend it for that. I'm gonna have to cut that in because I forgot about it. I think that's pretty much everything in terms of rifles. I don't see anything that I've missed. If I have missed on it and I've done it on the channel, but I haven't spoke about it just, then I apologise. I did have an AKX, but I sold it. Next, we're going to move on to something that kind of in this category, but not, which is support guns. So I don't really have many support guns. I think I have 2. And they're very wacky. This one, not so much. This is the VFC M249. Probably one of the best VFCs I've bought. This is bog standard as it comes out the box, barring my recoil rod set, which goes on the bolt. And I've converted it to HPA. And the game day I used this in, honestly, I was just pulling it up. I was using like .3s and just drilling people at distances that I had no business shooting them that far away. And yeah, it's very cool. Just don't really get out to many woodland games now, but hopefully in the new year we'll get out to some games and we'll start rocking with this thing. The next support gun I'm going to grab is extremely wacky, but still one of the best videos we've done on the channel for probably the reason that you'll realise. And that is this thing, the minigun from Wellpro. It's a minigun that's like the size of an SMG, and I bought it because I just wanted it. I was like, that is wacky, I want it. So I haven't done anything with it since because we've focused on the gas blowback stuff, and I haven't really been to any games where this would make sense. But yeah, a mad support gun. It uses 600 round little drum cylinders. And yeah, hopefully next year, if we get a chance to, we'll take it out to some places and see how it does. It doesn't shoot heavy, like very hard at all, but the rate of fire on it is pretty insane. So that is the World Pro mini gun. I think it's called like the WE23 or something like that. Right, shotguns. I have a weird collection of shotguns. So first of all, we have, I think this is a Hwasan. It's massively modified from what it was originally. Double barrel shotgun. This has been basically built up. It's got a funky molded. I basically just attacked this with a file and sandpaper, and it's super comfortable. And restained the wood, sprayed it FDE because why not? And basically this has been built to accept APS shells, but I still need to do the conversion. So luckily I managed to order the conversion before Shapeways died, because that was where you got it from. So as well as that, I do have some APS shotguns. So I have a Shorty. Was this, I can't remember what this was called. It's called something, Shorty, whatever. Basically a very short show ducting shotgun from APS. I ran the shells on HPA. It's really dusty because it's been parked up for a while in a box. So you have one in the chamber. I think you have like two in the tube. Show ducting shotgun. All the power is held in the shells themselves, and then these eject them. That is both a blessing and a curse, because the last thing you want to be doing is getting your expensive shells yeeted across your CQB arena as you're firing them. So you kind of have to run a shell catcher. This one's sort of a hodgepodge. I bought it back when I was at Bespoke. I found, I think it was a Marine. It was a Marine shotgun. I found it in the warehouse, and it had just been, it was in bits. So I asked them, I said, look, this is back when we were partnered with iWholesales, and it was in their warehouse. And I said, look, how much do you want for this thing? And I paid more than probably what it was worth, but switched some bits up, put on the M4 style stock, put on an SAI salient barrel and tube extender, and then put some bits inside it, and then did nothing with it. But it's a cool shotgun, and since then it is what it is. Eventually I bought this was the original ones that you could get. This was an FCW Street Sweeper, or Striker 12, and basically this was something to do with gel blasters or something. You had to get it from like these weird shops. I think it came from Oxygen. And it's got a 12 round drum. It uses APS shells. The only downside to it, it's a very good little shotgun, but with the kit that you use to like convert it, I think the barrel's slightly off. So when I was trying it, basically the wads that you use with the APS shells were getting stuck halfway in the barrel. So that was an issue. Because I was having an issue with that at the time and I hadn't fixed it yet, APS has actually released their version of it, which is supposed to work better because it's APS's own thing. But they do two versions of the shotgun. They do a Mark II and a Mark III. The Mark II, the gas is held in the shotgun, but the shells perform like crap. The Mark III's, all the CO2 or HPA is held in the shell, and they shoot much better. But they've used the same grip for both. So this grip is thicker than the grip on the FCW one. And what I mean by that is it's really square. I don't know if you can see how square that is in the front or how rounded that one is. So this is much more comfortable to hold. This one is quite uncomfortable to hold, but again, I picked it up just to see. Basically, I was going to pick it up because it was meant to, ideally going to be better. It was going to work better with the APS shells. God, I can't talk now. I've been doing this for hours. So there's all the APS style shotguns, but I do have more. 1 second. Because we have two Saiga shotguns. And I'm rapidly running out of room here because I've been bringing everything in but taking nothing out. Right, so we got my original Saiga 12. Saiga 12, shortened front end, shortened barrel, AirTac HPA adapter, rail on there. You know, what do you call it? What are these stocks called? Masada style stock? I'm sure they've got a name. However, I digress. This thing's an absolute monster. Liam was using this in the last video that we did, and they're great in CQB. Converted to HPA, they run very good, and you just run EPM mags in there, and it becomes a bit of a nightmare to deal with. I then bought and set up a second one, which is this one, which was set in a Groza kit. Very expensive. You're paying anywhere between £500 and £800, depending on where you get it from, for the kit itself. Then you've got to buy a shotgun, then you've got to convert it. And it looks cool, and you've got a much smaller signature on it. The downside is they put the grip so close to the magwell, I reckon they could have moved it forward and got away with it, that your hand fouls on it. So what you end up having to do is, when I was using it in the last game day before it massively malfunctioned because it basically shook itself apart, and then I think something's going on with the hammer set. So basically it was shooting full auto when it shouldn't, because the thing doesn't have full auto, and then it was firing when I was releasing the trigger. But then what I found was that digging into your hand for a couple of hours my hand was so sore that I was having to fire it like this. So I wasn't having a full grip on the gun like that. I was having to hold it like this. Otherwise, when the mag's in, it's even worse. It was fouling my hand. So, and everything shook itself loose. So if I do the stock here, everything's loose. So I need to go through it, Loctite everything, and then check what's broken on this thing. So there's the shotguns. I'm going to get rid of these shotguns now, and we're going to talk about something else. Right. Oh, I missed one. I missed a gun. Sorry, but I missed the KS1. I'm going to have to cut this in editing, so. Right, moving on to the last, I think, the last category. I don't know how many hours. I've been doing this for hours now. We're going to talk about some bolt actions. The oldest bolt action that I have here currently is this original Ares Amoeba ASO1. Back in the early bespoke days, we did a lot of parts of this. Cylinder kits, trigger kits, short barrels, you name it. This was the rifle that I used to prototype all those parts, and I've just never parted with it. It was finished in Cryptek. It had this ridiculously massive suppressor off an Ashbury, which was an ASG bolt action. And yeah, to be honest, it shot really well. It was kind of handicapped, this rifle, always, because they struggled with many parts and Ares QC and everything like that. But I've always kept it, and I'll never get rid of it because it looks fantastic, even though I'll probably never plan on using it again. The next one I have here is a TAC 41. The original TAC 41, I had tons of issues with, loads of QC problems, loads of things I had to claim back through their warranty system, which then had to come through a retailer here in the UK, which then charged me postage on every part that they had to fix. However, it eventually got it working some when I put the conversion kit in it to go to GBB. I think it's a GBB rubber. It's got the CNC stock on here, which honestly, I don't think I've ever adjusted it. They really messed up with this by having it fold that way into the charging handle. So you had to fold that up to then latch that into place, and then you couldn't latch that all the way down, and it could be basically pulled. So it was easy to knock it up and pull it. Just a lot of BS with this thing. I spent a ton of money on it. It's had an absolute fortune spent on it, and then it ended up getting parked and me not really using bolt actions anymore. I did have a Silverback did send me their new LS Sport, which shot really well out the box, to be honest. They've obviously, implemented all those changes that they've done into those new rifles. They were cheap. That shot really well. Netzi has that now, so it's his problem to deal with if he has anything go wrong with it. A couple more bolt actions here that I probably never covered on the channel. I have here a Modify Steyr Scout. I was always looking for one of these things, and then one came up. Someone messaged me saying they had one, and I jumped on it, and I've never, ever do anything with it. Maybe I will in the future, maybe I won't. Excuse me. So yeah, another one in the gun rack taking up space. The other one I bought, I've had multiple of these. I keep buying them, building them, selling them, buying them, building them, selling them, and it's just rinse and repeat. So here is an SRS. This is the short 16. They call it the 16. Loads of parts in it, kitted it out, nice Vortex optics on there. And I haven't got the suppressor on there at the moment. Probably shoots really well since I built it, way in the gun rack. And I never touched it again. So you can see a common trend here. I have these ideas, I build stuff, and then I never use them. So there's one more bolt action we've got to look at, and then I think we're done. Oh, another financial mistake, I think. So ages ago, I built a really nice MTW, and in its format that I'd built it to, it was probably about 1,600 quid's worth of rifle, and a lot of the stuff came off. However, someone in like one of the groups that I'm in on Facebook, who I know of course, but he had one of these, and I've been looking for one for some time, which was a Tanaka M700 pre-ban, and I probably overestimated its value because we did a swap. that MTW for this. I probably thought this was worth more than it was, but it is. They are rare, especially in good quality. You just have to ignore the cheap scope that's on it. It just came with it. So since I've had it, thing is, finding and getting the Tanaka mags is, again, hen's teeth. But there is hope for this project. Again, I haven't done anything with it, but there is hope for it. Because recently, and again, this might not work, I acquired one of these, which I've been trying to get my hands on since I got it. Unfortunately, I was never able to do it. They were hard to get or always out of stock. And this is, it might not even be the right stock, but if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it can just be sold. This is a real Magpul M700 Hunter stock. So my plan is to try and modify this. I don't think it's going to be a drop-in fit, but I think to try and modify this, because the one thing I hate about that M700 is the stock. The stock is so wide here, it's just horrible to hold it. Now this is a real Magpul stock. These aren't cheap, but I got it through a buddy of mine. I just did a load of Cerakote work for him, and this came in as a bit of the deal. So hopefully we can get it converted to sit in this stock. If not, then the stock can just be sold and move on. But I'm sure many of you out there will know more about the Tanakas than I do. And I can feel myself getting sick for how much time I've spent recording this video for you. So if it's a 3-hour long video, I don't want to hear any complaints. I warned you all for some time, and many of you keep asking me for it. So I've got so much to do. I was like, you know what? It's now or never. I need to get it out of the way, get it done, and get it recorded. There may be items that I forgot or just glanced over to do in this video. If you've seen them on the channel and I still have them, apologies. There is literally like over 100 guns in this room with me right now. So apologies for that. One thing I want to say is there's a lot of stuff on the way to me. So I'm going to try and remember now. So the Shadow 2 turned up today. Hopefully my new VFC AKS74U will land tomorrow. It's been stuck in customs for over 2 weeks. The reason why I didn't buy the initial VFC AKM, was it AKM or AVM or whatever the heck it's called. The reason why I didn't buy that, although many of you were telling me to, is because I knew that VFC were going to do another model, and that model really wasn't appealing to me. And the new 74U scratches a massive nostalgic GoldenEye itch with me that I had to pick one up. So hopefully that turns up tomorrow. If it does, great. If it doesn't, well, we'll get to it eventually. The new Gate PTX HPA pistol, that's hopefully due Friday, if all being well, but knowing UPS is going to sit in customs for a week, so maybe that's when we can start and get done next week. So the Gate PTX, there is, I'm trying to remember now, VFC 74U, Gate PTX. I've got 2 more CGS rifles on the way. I've got the Colt N23 and the SAI GRY, just 2 models that, you know, CGS the only people that are doing them, that are loosely on the MWS system, so it is what it is. Other rifles that I've got marked down are the Daniel Defense PCC, the Salvo RSAR, the Salvo Hunter. I've put inquiries out to all these already, I'm just waiting. They're all apparently going to be due mid-January. There's probably many other things that I've ordered that's also on the way, but I just forgot. So yeah, that is my collection. I'm not sure if this is the biggest collection worldwide. It probably isn't, but it's got to be up there because there is a shit ton of money in this room. It's accumulation over time. It's not like I just went out and spent tens upon tens of thousands of pounds getting all this stuff. A lot of it is stuff is ran and needed for the business. We do parts, we do other bits and stuff, we do content. The content part is part of the business as well. So there's a lot that's been spent over a long period of time. I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I can do that. A lot of the stuff that I buy into review for you guys to give you the information that you need to make a better financial decision comes out of my own pocket, and it has done for years. So there's very rare cases where we'll be sent stuff for free, but if we do, we'll always say that it has been. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you stuck around to the end, fair play to you, because I probably would have got bored by now, but that is everything that I can think of and remember that's in this room to show you. There's so much more stuff that's not replica related, but honestly, we could be here till the end of the year. So Thank you very much for tuning this video. I know it's been a long one. You've all been asking for it, so I thought I need to do it now or never. So thank you very much. I appreciate every one of you supporting the channel. We've just hit over 24,000 subscribers, which is just, in my mind, people look at that nowadays. This is the twisted world we live in. People look at that number now and go, small, which it is. But to me, what it means to me personally, 24,000 people potentially tune into my videos. So that is superb, and I thank each and every one of you for doing so. If it wasn't for you subscribing and sticking around, I probably wouldn't do it. But again, appreciate it. Thanks for supporting us during 2025. Jaeger Precision, you know, in the past just over 12 months, Jaeger Precision has gone from being a hobby to being a brand to being a full-fledged business. You know, it's a fully limited company now, which I'm learning stuff as I go. Yes, I've ran businesses before, but this is a new one to me because this is very, very personal, very solitary compared to those businesses beforehand. So thank you to everyone that supported Jaeger through the year of 2025. I hope you all have a great, this might not be the last video of the year, but I just want to say it now. I hope you all have a great Christmas and New Year. And I can't wait to see you in the new year, to see all the fancy stuff and toys we get to play with and that companies are bringing out. So thank you very much. And as always, from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.